guys. Let me grab my book here. I'm going to do a bit of an update here at the end of my bookshelves, which I've been building forever. I did an update earlier this year. I've been building for like a year because we don't work on them most weekends and we work on them here and there. I would say they probably have 3 weekends left. There's like a ton of trim that needs done and then all the filling and all the painting, but they are all built. So I wanted to show you them like built before we do the trim painting and all that stuff. Some of the trim's already up. Anyways, nothing to do with this book. This book is Reborn Yesterday by Tessa Bailey. It is a paranormal book and it came out in March 27. I went ahead and picked it up on a recommendation on here. I think it was Bookables who said something like, oh, I really liked it. So I was like, yes. I think I saw it actually on her Goodreads is the way I saw it. But I love Tessa Bailey. I read 2 other books of hers that I really, really like. So I thought because that one, these are some of her newer books I read. I thought, well, if it's in that same theme, but paranormal, why not? Why not read about vampires? And I had read Crave earlier, and I really liked that. So some of the vampire books this year, I kind of really liked. So this one actually felt like a debut novel in a lot of... This book follows Ginny, which is the girl in Jonas, and she does have a dream a lot about this Ferris wheel, and she's like trying to reach something, and she doesn't know what it's about. But Ginny is a mortician, so she's like an undertaker, I guess, which is kind of fascinating in a way because I always thought, how do people get into those jobs? But it was something she inherited. She does like her job. It makes her kind of an off person, so she doesn't have friends. She doesn't have relationships really, and she does sew. So that's one thing she has. It's a hobby, but none of the people really like her who she sews with. So I'm not quite sure why she goes to the group. Her father has since passed away, and she inherited it at the funeral home, and then her stepmother lives there, but her stepmother is wishy-washy, always kind of drunk. You won't really know what her stepmother is. She's a bit of an alcoholic in the book. So then along comes a guy who looks dead but not dead, and she's like, what's going on? And she's sitting there like, and she even like does the thing where she reaches for his pulse, and she's like, okay, he is dead. Like they wouldn't bring him in, but he doesn't have a toe tag. She doesn't really know what's going on. It's a bit of a mystery to her. And then he wakes up. And then she's like, oh my gosh, you're alive. From his point of view, it is like a prank or a joke. So vampires are kind of traditional in this book where they do not come out in sunlight, and they definitely are in like the underground of society. And so it's about them together, but they're facing all these challenges and they don't really know why. And they're not supposed to have anything to do with humans, so that's like the big thing. And yeah, but he's connected to her in some way. So I liked the book. It is, you read through it so quickly and so fast. It is page turning and really gripping. That's one of the things I think I like about her writing style is there's not like usually excessive filler or anything. The only things were like, for me, like I said at the beginning, it reminded me of like a debut novel because it wasn't like fully, I gave it 4 stars overall. So I think it was because it was her first jump off into paranormal and I really liked it and I flipped through it and I can't wait to read the second one. But at the same time, I feel like it was world building, like it was a bit lacking. Like she kind of gave the basics of like the vampire society and where he was at. But at the same time, you didn't get enough of like what vampires do. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like that part of it. And as for the women, usually she has really strong women characters in her book. And the girl here just kind of is very lacking. Like she doesn't have friends. She doesn't have other romances in her past. She doesn't have a family unit. It's kind of like she's floating and no strength. The only reason she's successful at her job is because she's there. Like her funeral place is actually kind of going under at the time, like doesn't create a drum enough business. So it's just kind of like, what does this girl have? So hopefully in the next book we see some of it. I know the next book is based on 2 other characters. That's one thing the author is really good at, is intriguing you enough with other characters and liking other characters to know their story. So maybe I hope we get to return to them a little bit. So yeah, there was a little bit of lack of world building, a little bit of lack of like, I wanted the girl to stand on her own a little bit. But I love the story as it was. You read through it really, really quickly. It's fun. If you're Tessa Bailey land, if you read Fix Her Up or the Hot and Hammered series, Love Her, Loser is the second one, I think you'll also really like this. If you're into fantasy or paranormal, I think you'll like it too because it's her writing style. It definitely is. It's kind of cool. I didn't know about the book because she did self-publish, which is pretty cool. I like I like the cover she picked out and the cover art they did. So yeah, I really like it. It was fun. And I will show you guys that library update now. See you in a minute. Hey guys, it is a huge mess in here filled with tools and some TBR books that I haven't read in June at all. But if you can't tell, all the trim has gone on. So the bookshelves are all actually built now. We just have to fill all the holes and sand and paint and sand and paint and sand again probably. These bookshelves are really shorter. They're different size obviously than those ones. But these ones I want it like that because I think I'm going to put most of my kids' books here or trade paperbacks. I'm not sure fit perfectly. And then these, we were going to put a couch in the room, but we decided we wanted to have more bookshelves, so we just built in our own couch. And we had to put it really high up because our windows are high up. That way I can see into our backyard. But as well, these open. They're pretty heavy, but there's like a ton of storage, maybe for holiday decorations or something like that, something we don't get into very often. But yeah, that's what it's gonna look like in the end. They're really tall. They're 8 feet as long as a, well, they're taller than 8 feet because the baseboard is 8 inches, but oh, they're as long as 1 sheet of plywood, just like my last house. I really, really like them, but I wanted to give you guys this short update. And yeah, can't wait to fill them after they're painted.